With everything going on in this world today, with the challenges and the fears, the unknown, we come to a place in our lives, in a road that we are traveling that may feel rugged or uneven, and we feel alone. And sometimes we stop right in the middle, not knowing which way to turn, which road to take. Sometimes this road holds us prisoner to ourselves, where there doesn't seem to be any outlet, anywhere to go, and the shadow falls before us, and the shadow falls behind us. To know that that ache that we feel inside of us can dissolve at any moment. And that the light of love, of God's love, warms us. We begin to believe one step at a time. And the shadows begin to dissipate as we take those steps, guided divinely. And we open up to infinite possibilities in our life. In the silence, we listen. We are that centerpiece of love and compassion and peace. And we begin to see the world differently. We see it with hues of beautiful colors, of smiles, of the Christ identity in each person that we come in contact with. We have that unity, we have that oneness, that one voice. And we become to realize we are not walking this path by ourselves. We come to this realization that there's only one power. God is the only power. Then we begin to walk one step at a time. And in that step and in that moment, there is no challenge, there is no problem. There is only the present moment. For the past is not our identity and the future is not our fulfillment. It is the moment that we are who we are. That power and that presence of God. That beautiful vessel, that God experience that walks this earth with grace, with love, with beauty, with compassion. And we hold on to the truth, knowing that life is eternal, that we are only this moment, this tiny space in the parentheses of life, to live, to experience, to be more of who we can become, because we are already successful, we are worthy, we are loved. So know in this moment that you are loved, that you are blessed, and that you are precious, that any challenge can be met when you go within and commune with that precious voice as you listen with no agenda. Just listen to that small, still voice within yourself. Turn away from the shadows. Turn towards the light, for it will dissipate any darkness, any fear, and it will calm you, and it will fill you with the most magnificent peace that you have ever felt. You are divinely guided, and to know in this moment you are never, ever forsaken. So take this time to reflect and to know you are loved. You are precious. Walk this world as God's experience, as this magnificent being that you are. Hold your head up high and know there is a power ever present surrounding you at every moment. And so I just leave you with this blessing, knowing that God's presence is within you, and you are this beautiful God experience, walking this lifetime as this unique individual that you are. And so it is.
Greater Las Vegas. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. Before we begin this celebration service, let's all join in and sing our opening song together.
Light of the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Name your price, ticket to paradise. I can't take it anymore. I've looked high and low. I've been shore to shore to shore. If there's a shortcut, I'd have found it. But there's no easy way around it. Light up the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. When you feel afraid, love one another. When you've lost your way, love one another. When you're all alone, love one another. When you're far from home, love. We got to love. We got to love. Light up the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer. Light up the world, shine on me. Love is the answer. Shine on us all, set us free. Love is the answer.
What a glorious Sunday morning. I'm Debbie Little, a licensed practitioner here at Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, and it is my pleasure to be here with you as we experience this uplifting celebration service together. Throughout this service, if you feel a need for prayer, a prayer and a blessing for you, a family member, or a friend, then please go to our website and select our prayer request. Know that licensed spiritual practitioners are deeply committed to supporting you through prayer. We are here for you. Please feel free to call on us. As a matter of fact, even as I speak, 2 practitioners are providing spiritual support right now for you, for me, and for our entire community. They're holding us in deep spiritual loving care from their homes by sitting in meditation during this service. We thank Valerie Weiner and Kelly Capsar for holding high watch for each one of us today. And now, let us take a moment to consider this week's affirmation. You may wish to jot it down or take a picture of it and keep it with you as a source of inspiration throughout the week. I'll read the affirmation and then we'll enter into contemplation together, after which I will give the invocation. I free my mind to be an open conduit of good. I free my mind to be an open conduit of good.
Feel me go.
grace. Fill me, God, be thou my grace. Fill me, God, be thou my grace. I know God's light shines within me. I know God's light shines within me.
I take a breath in and feel that breath of God move through me, bringing me to a sense of peace and stillness. And I know that breath fills me with wonder and joy and love as I open up and am willing to receive Spirit's message that flows through me, knowing that God is present right here and right now. And I know that today's message is Spirit speaking through Reverend Laura. In this moment, we just come together, bringing that presence of love and compassion, and God's grace fills us. So right here and right now, I just give great thanks. And as we come together to celebrate and to be as one, I simply say thank you. Thank you for knowing this truth of love, that God is, and so it is.
Fill me, God, be thou my grace. Fill me, God, be thou my grace. Fill me, God, be thou my grace. I know God's light shines within me. I know God's light shines within me. I know God's light shines within me.
I see trees that are green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow, but they'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see trees people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "I love you." I see trees that are green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, oh, what a wonderful world. I think to myself, ooh, what a wonderful
Well, good morning, Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to another Sunday morning celebration. I'm Reverend Laura Hallett, and it is my pleasure to be the spiritual leader of this amazing community located here in Southern Nevada. I want to thank each and every one of you who's joining us here live this morning. I hope you have your coffee ready and are enjoying yourself cozily in your homes. And for those of you that are joining us later on today or maybe sometime during this week, we are so appreciative knowing that you are out there and watching us too. I get quite a kick out of seeing the number of views that we have each week, knowing that that many people are connecting with us this way. And I want to take a special moment to thank Reverend Jeff Ryan for stepping in last week. I was called away on some unexpected family business in Tennessee last week, and so Reverend Jeff graciously stepped in to do our Sunday morning talk, and I know what a delight it was to have him back in our midst again, to share his wisdom and his delight in this philosophy that we have with you all. And so thank you, Reverend Jeff, and thanks to everyone who was there participating in the in-person service last Sunday. We are so grateful for everyone that steps up in service in any way possible. So thank you all. Our next in-person service will be on November 6th in our parking lot at our new building. So I hope to see you there if you're at all able to do that. So for this month of October, we are working with the theme of finance. This year at Centers for Spiritual Living, our theme for the year is Living Everyday Wonder. And we're looking at different life structures, different parts of our lives, and seeing how we can apply our principles and our practices to bring about a change in the way we experience those areas of our lives. And so this month, all of October has been on finance. And so we've looked at ideas of prosperity and abundance and universal flow and how we can begin to experience more of that in our lives, in our daily lives. Our Science of Mind principle for the month is, this is a universe of infinite abundance, spiritual, mental, and physical. This bounty of spirit, this allness of good, is limitless and can never be depleted. And so for this week, our talk title is Money, So They Say. So many of the issues that we have around money are based in the false beliefs that we have bought into, what we might call our old stinking thinking, or myths that have been promoted by the society in which we live that we call collective or race consciousness. Those ideas that we don't even know are operating in our experience, but have a profound effect on what we believe around the area of money, prosperity, finances, and our relationship to it. This week, I'd like to take a look at our creative process and how we can apply the spiritual practices we have to move away from being at the effects of those beliefs. You may have heard the phrase, "It is done unto you as you believe." In our philosophy, we turn that around a little bit, and we say, "As you believe, it is done unto you." Our beliefs create the experience of life in this world. And each experience we have seems to solidify those beliefs. I think we often have experiences that can negate the beliefs, but we are so set in confirming what we believe to be true that we don't often recognize the negating experiences when they happen. We are constantly looking for support or evidence to support our beliefs. We are constantly looking for that which validates what we believe. If we are a clear conduit for the divine flow, in other words, for Spirit to move into us with all of its available good, it is easy and natural for that flow to show up as good in all areas of our lives. Our health, our finances, our relationships, our work. If we are in that flow, it shows up in all those different ways. But if our conduit is clogged with beliefs that block the flow of good to us, then we experience things like poverty, lack, limitation, disease, dysfunctional relationships, and all of the things that are associated with that. We just can't pretend that they're not there. We can't say that these things are not happening to us when it's very clear they are. We are constantly, like I said, looking for evidence to support the belief, but sometimes we like to say, oh, we're going to turn away from that condition and look for the good, which is fine in itself. But if that condition is still existing there, we have to deal with it. We have to take action to clear that out. We can't just pretend that it's not there. We have to bring light to these situations in our lives in order to release them. The Science of Mind practitioner and minister Louise Hay said, "You can't clean your house if you can't see the dirt." If we don't have to wallow around in the dirt, we can just release it with statements of truth. We don't have to have that be our experience, but so often it is. So I'd like to start this with taking a look at our teaching symbol. Now our teaching symbol is a circle with a V and 2 lines in it. And it was used by metaphysicians in the early 1900s to explain this creative process. In other words, how things are created in our lives. And so the way that things move from ideas or beliefs into form or into experiences is modeled in this teaching symbol. So as I said, it's a circle with 3 sections, which represent the 3 aspects of spirit. And then there's a V shape in the middle of it that symbolizes the movement of thoughts into form, the movement of spirit into experience. So over the years, each section has been given many different names to help clarify what's actually happening in each of these sections. Oftentimes, the top section is referred to as mind or spirit, idea, belief, first cause, the absolute. Sometimes you might see those omni names, omnipresent, omniscient, and omnipotent, all powerful, all believing, all knowing, always present. The middle section has been called the soul or the creative medium. Sometimes you might see it referred to as the subconscious mind. And then the last section is often referred to as the body, the effect, the form, or the condition. So as I said before, our beliefs are shaped by our experiences. Now this is symbolized by the arrow moving from the top section to the bottom section on the left side of the V. And in turn, our experiences then validate our beliefs. And this is what the right side of the V with the return arrow symbolizes. So our thoughts create our experience, and our experiences validate our beliefs or our thoughts. We think a lot about changing our beliefs to create new experiences in our lives. And it is absolutely essential that we somehow do that. We have to change our thinking to change our lives, as our founder Ernest Holmes says. For without a new belief, we simply recreate the same experience over and over again. But what I'd really like to focus on today is that middle section. I think it's often overlooked. We think about those ideas. What is it we want to have? That belief in the top. And then we think about the experience that we have in the bottom. But we don't often think about what it takes to get to it and what we have to do to make that happen the easiest way possible. So that middle section, this is where the unconscious work happens. It happens based on our beliefs and our experiences. And all of those things that have happened to us in our lives leave remnants of themselves in that middle section of the creative process. We have an experience, and it leaves its trace in the middle section there. We have an idea that doesn't come into fruition, and we leave our beliefs about that in that middle section. Now, we have a great analogy that we use to simplify this creative process. And this analogy is that of a seed being planted into the soil and forming a plant. The top section of our teaching symbol, that would be the seed, or the idea or the belief that we are planting to bring about a new condition or a new experience in our lives. So the plant then is the bottom section of the teaching symbol. It is the experience we have. It is the form. It is the thing that we are wanting to bring into our experience. So just like if we decide we want tomato plants, we plant tomato seeds. So the top section would be the tomato seed. The bottom section, what we get from that, would be the tomato plant. But there's an awful lot that happens in between that, planting of the seed and reaping the harvest of the tomato. So the middle section then is the soil. The middle section is where the work happens. I think it is equally as important, if not even more important, than the top and the bottom section. The ideas can be easy to come to, and the effect that we can get then is based upon what happens in that soil. Whether we actually get that true tomato plant that's a good, healthy, ripe tomato, or if we get a shriveled up, scrawny little tomato. Depends on what happens in that middle section, in that soil. So sticking with this seed soil plant analogy, let's think about what happens when we get ready to plant something in the ground. Those of you that are gardeners, those of you that had any experience of gardening at all, as any good gardener knows, if you don't prepare your soil, the seed you plant is not likely to thrive. Not only do you have to prepare the soil, but you have to take care of it all the way along the path. All right, so first off, how do we prepare the soil? Well, the first thing you do is you stir it up. We take a hoe or a shovel and we dig into it and we look to see what's there. We examine the condition of the soil. Is it full of rocks and roots and debris that needs to be cleaned out? Is it pale and clumpy or clay-like? Or is it rich and dark and full of life? As I just said earlier, Louise Hay says, you can't clean your house if you can't see the dirt. So take a look at the dirt. What is the condition of the dirt that is filling our lives? What is the condition of that soil that we are putting our ideas into to bring about a new condition in our lives? So we've taken a look at it. We've examined it. We've seen what condition it's in. So the next step of the process is to remove those things that do not belong there. The things that are not conducive to healthy soil. Those are the rocks that are lingering in the way. Sometimes they're big rocks, sometimes they're little ones. Sometimes we need some rocks in there, but we don't necessarily want them right around the plant. We usually want them below that. We can't remove them if we don't identify them. So the first thing we have to do is identify what's in there. Is it rocks? Is it roots? Is it trash? What is in that soil that we need to take out? Now, we have many spiritual practices that can help us see the things that are clogging up our soil and inhibiting the growth of our plant. I think one of our most powerful ones is our affirmative prayer, our spiritual mind treatment. In this spiritual practice, we can go about releasing those things that do not belong in a rich and healthy and nurturing environment of growth. It can be done so easily and so beautifully by creating statements about what it is I want to release. If one of those rocks in your soil about finances is your belief in I will never get ahead, that's a rock that needs to be cleaned out. And our spiritual mind treatment can help with that. Simply by putting in statements, I release any ideas of lack or limitation or those things that no longer serve me in the development of my life in financial matters. Take it into our spiritual mind treatment. Okay? Find those things that need to be let go of and create a spiritual mind treatment to do that. If you don't know how to do that, please reach out to our practitioners. We have our prayer request right there on our website. You can just simply type in what it is you're experiencing, and all of our practitioners, our whole ministry of prayer, will be on that praying for you to allow that to be released out of your experience. You can also take some of our classes to learn how to do it yourself. And some of our experiences that we have doing that have been transformative for certainly for me and for most of the people at our center, by taking those classes that teach you how to do this for yourself. So we need to get rid of all of those things that don't belong in our soil. And then, like I said, as any good gardener knows, we need to fertilize. We need to add in those nutrients, those things that are going to enrich that soil. Healthy nutrients, vitamins, and things that belong in there. The right amount of water. We need to have good aeration in the soil, so it's got some air, some flow in it. All of these things are needed in a healthy, growing environment. And again, our spiritual practices can help with this. What is it that you need to add into yourself, or to get a deeper understanding of, to enrich the soil that you're planting your seeds in? So this, I think, is most easily accomplished by our recognition and understanding of the true nature of the divine or spirit, and how our relationship with it affects our lives. So in this sentence, we begin to embody or embrace or develop our understanding and belief system about the nature of spirit. And our practices of meditation, contemplation, visioning, journaling, and some of our other reflective practices put us in touch with spirit in a way that begins to develop an unshakable belief in who and what we truly are. Our connection with Source, our connection with Spirit, and how it is working through our lives. These are the nutrients that we need to fertilize our soil, to make the best condition possible to bring about a change. Our work in all of our spiritual practice always happens in the middle layer of the teaching symbol. Clearing out the dysfunctional and untrue beliefs that operate as law onto us, and adding in those beliefs that help us connect with the source of all of our good. Our work is always in the middle layer of the teaching symbol. And in this layer, we're clearing out those things that don't serve us, and we are adding in those beliefs that help us connect with Source, with Spirit, with our good. I think as a society, we bought into some long-held beliefs about wealth and poverty. One of those is that to be spiritual, to be connected to God, you have to be poor and suffer. You know, this is promoted by some of the myths of our great spiritual leaders. You know, Jesus being born as a poor baby. We're led to believe that from the birth story in the book of Luke, which has him born in a manger, in a stable. But remember, that was due to the fact that there was no room at any of the inns. His parents would not have been looking for rooms if they didn't have the money to pay for them. So he wasn't born into a familial poverty. He was just, due to the circumstances, there was no room at the end. If we look at some of the other birth stories, Matthew's story has him born at the house in Bethlehem where Mary lived. And this is where the Magi brought the gifts. The first one was gold. Gold was used to fund his ministry. And precious oils. As an adult, Jesus had a bookkeeper, which he wouldn't need if he didn't have money. He also wore a seamless robe, which was very desirable in that time. Normally their robes, their cloaks were patched together with pieces of fabric that they could find, smaller pieces. So to find one that was seamless made him stand out as as rich and, well appointed. He was supported by many of the women that he preached to. One of them was the wife of the Herod's house, supervisor of his house, very wealthy position. And so he was supported by these people. He did not live as a pauper. In the situation in which he lived, he was very well off. Nowhere in the Bible does it say he couldn't afford something. You know, and there's a statement about him saying that it was harder for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven than a poor man. Was a comment about having an attachment to wealth and to social status at the time. It wasn't about you needed to be poor to enter the kingdom of heaven. You needed to release the attachment that you had to the wealth that you had. If we look at some of our other great spiritual leaders, Buddha, he was born wealthy, he was born a prince. He rejected that for a while until he found what he called the middle way. So he rejected both extreme poverty and extreme wealth for this middle ground, but he never wanted for anything. Muhammad was a wealthy trader and married to a rich widow. Lao Tzu, who wrote the Tao Te Ching, was a respected government official with no indications of poverty. Abraham, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, they were all very well off at the time that they lived. I believe it's time for us to let go of the myth that to be spiritual, you have to be poor. It's absolutely not true. Another one of the great myths that we buy into in our society is that of debt and loss. You know, within this infinite oneness of which we live, there can be no debt or loss. Debt occurs when we either agree to pay for something over time, in a consciousness of trust of the flowing of money, or in a consciousness of fear and belief that the universe won't supply our needs and we have to get it from somewhere else. Ultimately, spirit can't owe itself anything. There is only infinite abundance. And the kind of debt that creates problems comes from an overall consciousness of lack and a distrust in ourself and that abundant universal flow that is always moving into form. Loss comes when we believe money is ours and that there's a limited supply coming from certain channels. When we let go of the desire to possess it, the possessiveness around money, and we realize that money is a form of wealth which we use. It comes in, it stays for a while, some of it goes out, some of it comes in. It's a flow, as we've talked about earlier this month. We let go of our death grip on money when we understand that we are in the flow. We may sustain what in human terms we call a loss, but nothing is ever lost in the universe. If we put a claim into the universe to provide us with the amount of loss, the amount that we have lost, or more, and stay open to the infinite flow, we will experience the ever-present opulence of the universe. The last myth that I want to talk about today is that this idea of fitting in and being feeling shame for the conditions in which we were born into or in which we currently live. If we were raised in a shame-based home, a school, culture, church, we are especially prone to carry shame and guilt around highly charged things like money, which is in its essence a form of divine energy. We learn that it's just plain wrong whether we have too much or not enough. We've learned that over time. Our parents didn't know how to deal with these feelings, and so they fought, hid, or didn't talk about it. They overspent, they underspent, or they exhibited a myriad of different behaviors around money. And we learned to keep quiet and fit in. Or if, in some cases, we fought it by acting out and not really understanding why. Many of us are afraid that a great deal more money would cost us our friends and be disloyal to the culture in which we're familiar. We forget that we have lost or chosen to lose friends in the past and have made new ones. Sometimes we tend to focus on the loss more than what we gain. And our lives tend to match the people with whom we constantly associate. If we want to expand our good, we have to expand not only our own consciousness, but the group of people in which we hang out. If we are hanging out with people who are constantly talking about their poverty and their loss and their debt, then the universe supports that by matching our energy with us. But if we can begin to shift our focus the way that we are expanding our consciousness, the energy will match it with surrounding people and circumstances. This is how we grow. We begin to change our mindset. We change our belief system, and it expands our consciousness, and it expands our scope of friends and circumstances around us. This is how we grow. Always we must remember that money is a form of divine energy. We don't need to feel ashamed about our interaction with it, Nor do we have to dumb down or fake that we're rich to create a healthy relationship with money. We need to let go of the old stories about poverty of great spiritual teachers so that we no longer think that if we're good if we're poor. There's nothing good about being poor. There's nothing holy or spiritual about having nothing or about struggling. And we have to let go of clinging to debts and losses and attaching our identity to our money. We must recognize that we live within a constant flow of divine wealth in all of its many forms, but not be attached to it. It is not my wealth. We just get to play with it. And as we bring the mindset of everyday wonder, of kind attention and curiosity to our relationship with money, like any other relationship, it will blossom. So this week, become aware of your thoughts around money as you handle it, as you deal with your financial issues. Notice if you hear any ghost of these old myths haunting your house. Become a myth buster, or if you like, a ghost buster, and send them packing, and replace them with friendly, supportive, expansive thoughts. And remember, if you're having difficulty with this, reach out. Reach out for support with our spiritual mind treatment, our prayer, our meditation. Our Wednesday night services this whole month have been focused on this idea of bringing magic into your money relationships. So reach out. Take a look at some of our practices. Take a look at some of our principles. Reach out to our spiritual practitioners for treatment if you like. Connect with it. If you don't know how to do it yourself, find someone that can help you do this. This is the way that we begin to shift our lives. And this is the way that we begin to build that world that works for everyone and all of creation. One person at a time, with each one of us individually. Thank you. So let's take this into spiritual mind treatment. Just like I was talking about, our spiritual mind treatment is such a fabulous way to begin to shift our ideas around that. And so if you would with me, just turn within now. And if you'd like, just go ahead and close your eyes and take in a nice, deep, conscious breath. Feel the flow of that breath moving through you, knowing that that is the flow of divine energy moving into your experience at all times. Our breath can be a great reminder of just how powerful this flow is. And so right here and right now, I know that there is only one. One power, one presence, one divine creative source of all. And though it goes by many names and shows up in many forms, I simply know it as the divine. That universal essence, that power, that presence, that one love intelligence that brings everything into existence. Everything that has ever been, everything that is yet to be, is all emanating from that one, through its own essence, through its own energy. The divine is the source of all. And because I know there's only one, I know that I am one with it. I know that loving intelligence, that creative power, resides right at the very heart of my being. Always available to me. Always ready for me to tap into it. It is continuously flowing into my experience in all things. And as I know this is true for me, I know this is true for each one of us. For we are all unique expressions of that one, filled with that love intelligence, with that prosperity, with that creativity, with that divine power and purpose. That is the truth of who we are. And so in complete realization of this truth, I speak my word. I know that right here and right now, each one of us is an open conduit for the flow of divine energy in all forms to move into our experience. I know that this takes shape in money, in relationships, in health, in well-being, in energy, in presence. I know that each one of us is that open and available conduit through which spirit flows into manifestation, into form. And I know that each one of us is fully capable of removing any of the obstacles that block that conduit of flow. We simply release those things that no longer serve us anymore. The old ideas, the old beliefs, the old thought patterns that have created the experiences we've had up until now. And we welcome with that divine energy, that love intelligence, to move into our lives in greater and greater ways. It shows up as prosperity, as richness, as creativity and flow. It shows up in all areas of our lives, in our finances, in our health, in our relationships. We are a divine conduit for all of the good of spirit to flow into our lives right here and right now. And how good it is to know this, how good it is to feel it and to see it in action in our entire community. And I just simply release this word into the law, into that creative mind that always, always, always says yes. I let it go and I let it be. And so it is. Amen.
Here at Center for Spiritual Living Greater Las Vegas, we are a mission and vision-driven community. We offer transformative educational opportunities, deep and meaningful moments of connection, uplifting Wednesday and Sunday services. We greatly appreciate your contributions that support the amazing work we're doing here in Southern Nevada. We have several easy ways you can contribute. We have text to give. Simply text the amount of your donation to our text to give number and you'll be prompted to enter your information. There's a link to our online donation page posted below this video where you can contribute by debit or credit card. And of course, you're always welcome to send a check to our office if that works better for you. All of your contributions go to support the great work that we're doing here in Greater Las Vegas community.
We're on a wheel, spinning through the cosmos. All the love we feel spins away the fear. Walking up the ladder, emanating power. Blessed Holy Spirit, guide us on our way. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, give me all your burdens, give me all your sadness. You'll be filled with laughter only when you say that you are holy water, you are highly favored. Blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, as we lighten up, go and show the love's the way. As we lighten up, have faith in every word you say. As we lighten up, give up the stories that we made. As we lighten up, go and light the way. We're on a wheel, spinning through the cosmos. All the love we feel spins away the fear. For we are holy water, we are highly favored. Blessing all the mountains, valleys, hills, and plains. For we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we are heroes for all the kingdoms. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are courage and we are freedom for all the people. As we lighten up the world, yes, we are masters and we the kingdoms as we lighten up the world.
Thank you, Nadine. You always inspire and uplift us with your talent. And thank you for your generous gift in support of our center. We remain committed to serving you. Center for Spiritual Living, Greater Las Vegas, continues to provide enriching services, transformative classes, and powerful opportunities for connection within our community. Be sure to watch the announcements at the end of today's service for what's coming up in the weeks ahead. Now, let's join together in a closing song before our benediction.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful friends. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. My wonderful, wonderful, wonderful life. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day.
So as we close this morning, I just have a few brief announcements. We are forming our service groups, our sacred service teams, to help with our in-person services. So we need welcomers, greeters, those people who will meet our guests when they come onto the property, direct them for any questions they may have, and so forth. We are looking for people to help set up the chairs and the awnings and then take them down after service as well. So if you're interested in any of that, please let one of us know and we'll be happy to get you signed up for one of our service teams. You know, sacred service is really a powerful way, powerful spiritual practice, and I personally have found it to shift my life greatly. Our Sacred Circle small group ministries are also forming. They've got off to a great start. We've got several circles already formed, and new groups will be forming in the coming months. If you're interested in meeting with people in small groups, please go to our website, CSLGLV.org, and fill out our online survey to see what other groups you might be interested in participating in. You'll be asked for your contact information so that we can then let you know when these groups are beginning to form and give you all the pertinent details to that. One of our groups, our Tuesday Supper Club, will be meeting on November 1st at 6 p.m. at the restaurant The Sparklings on South Rainbow. If you're interested in attending, you must RSVP so that we have an accurate account. If you haven't registered before for our Tuesday Supper Club, you'll need to go ahead and do that also. You can find all the information again on our website to sign up for that. You'll be getting a separate email with an RSVP link, and then you'll be sent a text reminder on Monday for you to remember to attend that. It's really important if you sign up, if you RSVP, that you show up for these things, because we're committing to the restaurant to have a certain number of people, and so they're doing their part by setting aside an area for us to eat in and bringing in the extra staff that they will need to handle a large group. Remember to bring cash with you so that you can pay for your meal separately. That way no one is having to deal with any issues that come up with dividing checks and so forth. So make sure that you have cash with you and change if possible, so that you can easily pay for your bill. You'll be able to order your food individually, pay for it individually. And that's our desire for this, is to make it a wonderful time for us to get together and fellowship, kind of replacing what we used to have with our after service Sundays in the social hall. So the last month was really a wonderful experience. We were at the Hush Puppy on West Charleston, and we had a fabulous time there. And the staff couldn't have been more gracious to us. So hope you consider joining us on November 1st at 6 p.m. at the Sparklings on South Rainbow Boulevard. Well, have a wonderful and blessed week. I will look forward to seeing you all at our next in-person service on November 6th at 10 a.m. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
The monthly publication, Science of Mind magazine, is a treasure to be read and contemplated. Along with in-depth articles, there is a day-to-day spiritual support to be gleaned from its daily guides. Licensed practitioner Lynn Frankenberger hosts Adventures in Faith every Tuesday at 11 a.m. on Zoom, and you're invited to join in. This is a weekly group discussion that focuses on those daily guides and how to apply them. Check Facebook and our weekly newsletter for more details. CSL Greater Las Vegas brings you much of your favorite spiritual music every Friday at 7 p.m. with spiritual soundscapes. Enjoy performances from CSLGLV vocalists along with special guest singers. It's music for your soul. Subscribe to the CSLGLV YouTube channel to get a convenient link sent to you for each musical performance. At CSL Greater Las Vegas, it is our mission to inspire spiritual discovery through community connection, exploration, and celebration. This mission supports the all-inclusive vision of Centers for Spiritual Living worldwide, in which we envision a world that works for everyone and all of creation.